So the last time I saw you, we were talking about the distance formula, right? Again, dealing with we're dealing with my pen not working. 1.1, right? And the last we did the distance formula and we talked about where it came from in terms of the Pythagorean theorem, right? And we learned that the distance from any 2 points, formula, we learned that the distance between any 2 points, right, was x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and it was the square root of those, right? And that was based off of the Pythagorean theorem, and we showed you how they came up with it, right? Today, what we're talking about is the midpoint formula. And the good thing about the midpoint formula is it's like the easiest formula. The midpoint formula will find the middle of a line between any 2 points, right? Dead center. The midpoint equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2 will give you the x value. And then the y value would be y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and that would give you the y value. So any 2 points that I have, if I want to find dead center of those 2 points, I just add up the two x values and divide them by 2. And then I add up the two y values and divide those by 2, and I have both coordinates for that midpoint of that line. So, for example, given if I want to find the midpoint, of -5. That's terrible. My handwriting is terrible this year on this thing. I was so good last year, and then they went and changed my whiteboard, and I just can't function properly anymore. -5, -3, and 9, 3. Right? So I have 2 points, right? If I connected those two dots, they'd be connected by a straight line, right? Because the closest distance between any 2 points is a straight line, and we can connect them. And so what we want to find is dead center of that line. And the way that we do it is we follow this formula. The midpoint would be, I don't know why I'm using M, maybe I should put mid. It's going to be my x values minus 5 plus 9 over 2 would give me the x value. And then the y values minus 3 plus 3 over 2 would give me the y values. And when I reduce that, -5 plus 9 is 4 over 2. 4 over 2 is just 2. And then -3 plus 3 is 0. 0 divided by 2 is just 0. And so if I were to graph that, I could find dead center of those 2 points. But not super difficult, right? Because once you know what the points are, the math is really easy because you're just adding two things together and dividing by 2, and you're going to find those points, right? I'm going to have you guys find the midpoint of these 2 points and let me know what you come up with for an example. And then we'll move on to the word problem portion of it. So I want you to find the midpoint of -2, 8 and 4, -10. You guys get points for doing this in the chat box, so make sure that you're participating by putting something in so I can give you guys credit for it. Even if you're not right, you'll get credit for participating, right? So give it your best shot. Two, three, four, five. How many of you? Three, four, five, six, seven of you, eight of you. Am I still missing somebody? There we go. There are a lot of different solutions. I see that we've got some people with -3s in there. The the solution is 1, -1. So if you look at it, right, and we take our x values, we've got, for x, we've got -2 plus 4 divided by 2. And for our y, we've got 8 plus -10. Oops, -10 over 2. -2 plus 4 is +2. 2 over 2 just equals 1. 8 minus 10, well, that's -2. So I've got -2 over 2, which is -1. Yeah, I knew it had to be just a simple arithmetic mistake, but I wanted you guys to see it work out. But it's pretty basic, right? The idea behind it is pretty basic. We can do more if you want after I do the next part, if you want to do more sample problems in the midpoint part, but there will be some in the next part too. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up and work on that because we're going to talk about the kind of word problems that we're going to be doing. The first one, like if any of you were looking at your book, you could actually even see the problem that I'm working on right now, which is we're finding the length of a pass, right? So given I wish I could like just cut and paste it. I should have done that before and then solved the problem out that way. But say we have a football field, right? Let's see if I can draw a football field, right? Oh, that's not good. I missed the old whiteboard when it would straighten my lines out for me. I know it's not a very straight football field. And on a football field, you have yard lines, and they're marked off by what, 5, 10? You're usually marked out by 10, but we'll call it 5 right here, right? So if this is like the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, etc., right? The 30, and well, it'd have to be much longer to get to 100. But in terms of this, let's just call this 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And I know that that should be enough because that's as much as it's done in the picture that I have. So it says a football quarterback. I like that they specified that it was a football quarterback. Throws a pass from the 28-yard line. So where's the 28-yard line? It's like right in here somewhere, right? Just close to the top by 30. Let me change colors so we can spot it. From the 28-yard line, 40 yards from the sideline. Right? So say this is 0, we'll call this 40. Well, if you think about that, that is a point, right? The point is 28. Oh, they made it 28, 40. 28, 40. Or if I wanted it to go the other way, I could, right? I could make one X and the other one Y. Technically, I can't. Think about that. I have to make it 40, 28. Do you know why I have to make it 40, 28? Because which way does X go and which way does Y go? Because my X is left to right and my Y is up and down. So I want to make sure that my X, because our Y is 28 in this circumstance, right? We're saying it's 28 going up and down, and we know that it is 40 going left to right. And then it says a wide receiver catches the pass on the 5-yard line, 20 yards from the same sideline as shown, blah, blah, blah. So the, here at the 5-yard line, 20 yards in, we're going to have 20 and 5. And it wants to know how long is the pass. Well, as long as I know 2 points, I can find the length, right? It wouldn't have even really mattered what was X or Y as long as I was consistent, right? As long as I made the yards up and down X and the yards left and right Y, it wouldn't have mattered because we're just going to plug those 2 points into the distance formula, right? And we can do our 40 plus 20, sorry, 40 minus 20 squared plus 28 minus, did I mess up there? 28, 28 minus 5 squared. I just need to be consistent. If I have my 40 first, I need to have my 28 first. And then we're just going to solve that just like we would the distance formula any other time. 40 minus 20 is 20. 20 squared is 400. That looks like 900, so I want to fix that. And then I have, well, 28 minus 5, that's 23 squared. I don't know what 23 squared is off the top of my head, so I'm really hoping they did. They solved that out for me. It is 529 plus 529. And then all we have to do is add these together, and then you can use a calculator to find the solution, right? Which would be 929. The square root of 929 happens to be 30. And so the yards that it covered was 30. The distance of that pass was 30 yards. So it's just a matter of looking for what they're asking for, right? More often than not, you're either going to be finding the distance of something or you're going to be finding the middle. And so once you find your word problems, all you have to do to solve it is to figure out what the 2 points are, right? And you're either going to be looking for the middle of those 2 points or the full length of those 2 points. So there's only one formula that you're going to wind up using. I'm not even going to show you this problem. I'm just going to read it to you, and you tell me what formula you think that you should use. Starbucks Corporation. Wow, Starbucks, man. Starbucks Corporation had annual sales of approximately $13.3 billion in 2012 and $16.4 billion in 2014. Without knowing any additional information, what would you estimate the 2013 sales to have been? Would you use distance or would you use midpoint? Kevin says midpoint. Anybody else agree or disagree? Well, everyone who agrees with Kevin would be right. Because think about this, we're talking about sales in 2012 and 2014, and they want to know, well, what's the sale for the middle year, right? For 2013, the year between them. It's probably going to be in between the two, right? Assuming that sales keep progressing. Now, it's just an estimate, like we're not, but clearly, like you have this growth, and then the middle, you know, the growth of that other year would probably be in the middle. Is it accurate? I don't know, but it is an estimate, and that's what they're asking for. We aren't doing translating the plot, but I just want to look at some other ones. A soccer player passes the ball from a point that is 18 yards from the end line and 12 yards from the sideline. A teammate who's 42 yards away from the same end line and 50 yards from the same sideline receives the pass. How long is the pass? Midpoint or distance? Yeah. This is a key giveaway in that one, right? It said how long. If they're looking for an estimate, you're probably dealing with midpoint. If you're looking for a length, you're probably dealing with distance. They'll usually give you two pieces of information with each one, right? Like if you look at the soccer field, it's saying 18 yards from the end line, 12 yards from the sideline, right? That's a point, right? The other one is 42 yards from the same end line and 50 yards from the same sideline. That's a point, right? Just find the distance between those 2 points. And the same thing's going to happen when it comes to a distance formula. You're going to get 2 points. I mean, not the distance, but the midpoint. You're still going to get 2 distinct points. If you look at the Starbucks question, when we look at that question, it's giving us, if I can find where I put it, right? It gave us a year and a dollar amount, right? That year and dollar amount is a point. You make one of them X and make the other one Y, and just make sure that if you're making, say, the dollar amount your X, that it's the dollar amount that's X in both problems. If you're making the year Y, make sure that the year is Y in both problems when you make the point. And then you're going to do things the exact same way, right? You're going to add them together and divide them by 2. And it's going to give you that point, right? The years are easy because if you've got 2012 plus 2014 and you divide it by 2, it's going to give you 2013. It's going to give you the number between them. But keep that in mind when you're doing these problems, okay? Make sure that you figure out what the points are and then go, well, are they looking for the distance between them or are they looking for the middle, an average or an estimate? And that should help you a lot when you're setting them up. I'll try and get some tutoring time in this week in case you guys need any help with it. But I think you'll be okay. It's just going to be an extension of the other assignment. It'll be written as a part 2 assignment, but I won't overload you with problems. But anybody have any questions regarding it? All right. Well, then that is all I really have for you today. I will put the assignment in WebAssign when we're done in here. I'll go make it up, but give me like 10 minutes or so to get it going if you want to start it. And if you have any trouble, don't hesitate to ask the questions. All right. We can always open up a Google Meet sometime and go over any problem that you have. Okay. Keep that in mind. I mean, you might not have any problems with these, but as time goes, you might have more. And I just want you to know that the door or Google Meet is always open to you guys if you need the help. Okay. Otherwise, feel free to go. You don't have to stick around. Have a good day. What's up, Jamila? Okay. I have another class after this one, but it's a pretty brief. So if you need some time, like 20 minutes or so from now, just let me know and I should be able to open it up and help you out. All right, you're very welcome.